Hello, this is ModelOmega, and you're watching Chapter 9 of my Thracia 776 Let's Play. Thanks for coming on by. After dealing with the bandits of Purple Dragon Mountain, Leif led his liberation army to Hannibal's mansion, where the nobles of Leinster were said to be hiding. Oh boy, this one's another doozy. I didn't screw up too many times on this chapter, but try not to because it's long and very much of a slog, but it's a fun slog. Around here, Murloc? Yes, Your Majesty. Those bandits attacking the people of Thracia. This will not be taken lightly. You didn't have to come all the way out here, Father. Well, as king, I must be aware of any and all happenings in my country. And besides, it's been a while since I have traveled with you, Altina. Yes, I'm happy you decided to come with us. I tried to get Arion to come along as well, but he said he couldn't leave the castle unattended. Oh well. He's trying hard to be of help to you, Father. Well, when I was his age, I was already taking charge as king. I suppose I should commend his efforts. I'm working hard so I can be of assistance to you two as well. Yes, I want you two to lead Thracia in the future. The fertile lands in the north, and the rich minerals in the south. Thracia needs both of these to rise up to independence and peace again. A unified Thracia. My wish is to rebuild Thracia into that prosperous nation that Dane and Nova created. And if that process dooms me to hell, then so be it. Father? Altina. Yes? The wind is picking up. I suppose we should leave the rest to Murloc and start heading back. Yes, Father. Murloc! Yes? I'm leaving the rest to you. With all these troops, I trust you won't fail. Hunt down the bandits and kill them all. Give them what they deserve for making our people suffer. Yes, Your Majesty. Father, the Thracian army is headed toward us from the south. So, Trabant found out about us. Damn! Glade is in Tara, and the people we have here still don't have any battle experience. I'll buy time for you, so you can take them and escape in the meantime. No, Selfina. According to General Hannibal, Lord Leif is headed here with a band of fighters from Fianna and Manster. We must wait here for him. Yes, in that case, I shall lead the defense of the mansion. Kane! Alba! Robert! We're going out. Follow me. That must be the mansion. I hope everyone's alright. There's an army around us. Is it Dorius? Army? Damn! That's the Thracian army! What? I thought that was General Hannibal's mansion. Perhaps they found out, or maybe General Hannibal informed them. August! General Hannibal isn't that kind of a man. Either way, we must help them. If that mansion is captured, there would be no hope left for Thracia's liberation or the reconstruction of Leinster. And here we go, in my opinion, one of the most interesting chapters in the Fire Emblem verse as a whole. The Thracian army is headed north past the left side of this mountain to attack the mansion. You have 2 Lance Knights and 2 Bow Knights defending them. You can either move your army through the northern path across the mountains, or the longer southern path which does not have any obstacles. It's up to you which route you take. I generally like to bring cavalry on this chapter, which means that it's better for me to go down the south. This does mean that if you want to have the best chance of making sure the mansion is defended, you might have to bring your Lance and Bow Knights out, which are hilariously underpowered, like, hilariously. But if you can get around this mountain, then you can attack them and trap them between the mansion and yourself. You really only need one person guarding the mansion because it's got one of those FU thrones that you can sit on. You know, the ones that give you plus 10 defense in the void. Yeah, this is one of them chapters where you get to take advantage of those FU tiles, and oh boy is it fun watching units struggle to kill a unit that can't even counterattack them. Oh, the joys of abusing mechanics right back at a game. Anyway, if you're going to bring non-cavalry units like Othin or Havan on this chapter, you're probably best off going across the left on the top of the mountains, because that allows you a better advantage for defending the mansion and possibly keeping all 4 of your new units alive, and I'll get into them in a sec. This guy here, Murloc, is a big pain to deal with, and he's why I recommend that you bring Assel for this chapter, in why I basically said that don't use him much in the last, even though you need to bring him now. I've managed to kill Murloc with regular units. He's no Gomez, but it's a real pain to do so because his stats are pretty high. And I mean, I think even a base level Asphalt can, bring him down to 2 HP with Wrath Caliber, and my Asphalt can one-shot him with pretty good accuracy as well. And that's basically the crux of it. This guy is not something you want to deal with because he and the 4 other Dragon Knights that he's with are all equipped with Killer Lances. So don't mess with those guys. If they get a crit on one of your units, that unit is almost assuredly a goner. If you're going to go down the southern route like I am, I would also recommend that you try and lure away as many of the Dragon Knights over to your side as possible. I mean, the 2 Bow Knights probably could take on these guys, but they have just enough avoid that they can miss, and oh, it's just not fun. You're much better off having you guys deal with them rather than the guys you just have. They can mostly handle the armors, the archers, and the soldiers, because they all have, generally bad stats, so they won't have too much of an issue. Anyway, let's go over a bit about the new units we've just got. Kain and Alva are, I guess you could call them the Cavalier duo in this game. If you've played previous Fire Emblems, you'll note that there's like a Red Knight and a Green Knight that kind of share similar features from time to time, even though they tend to swap. I'm a bit unsure as to basically what it's supposed to be now, but from what I can recall, the Green Knight specializes in strength, while the Red Knight specializes in speed. I can't quite remember which one is which because, I'm going to be honest, I've never used Kain or Alva. They're Lance Knights, and they have bad growths, well actually kind of good growths, better than Finn's at least. But they all have 1 PCC, no movement stars, and being Lance Knights, they're inferior to Carrion and Finn for that matter in every single way. The 2 Bow Knights are something different, however. Robert is probably the best overall archer in the game, but I don't know if I would recommend to a new player that you use him. You can easily get by Thracia 776 having never really used a bow unit. They're just not super great in this game because they can't capture, but if you want to use a bow unit, Robert and also the other unit there, Selfina, are definitely your best choices. Robert gets special mention because he is the bow unit with the highest PCC in the game of 3, plus he also has 1 movement star, and overall pretty great growths. He does start at level 1, which kind of sucks, but there is an arena on this chapter, so if you can keep him alive without having him exit the chapter through the escape, you can just load him up on Crusader Scrolls and beef him through the arena up to about level 10, which is exactly what I did. And now there's Selfina. She's not as good as Robert. She has a lot of things going for her, but she's kind of held back by her high starting level. It means that she gains EXP not as good, and to be honest, her base stats are almost the same as Robert's, even though she's like 7 levels higher. She does have a couple unique things going. She starts with a B rank in bows, which means that she can immediately use the silver bow if you got it from chapter 5, I believe. It also means that she pretty much has a monopoly on all high-level bows unless you arena abuse Robert or promote him very early. Plus, she also has charge, which, while I've had my grievances about, is actually a pretty good skill for archers because if you keep them, they're not supposed to be on the front lines, basically. So they're not going to experience the detrimental effects of it as much. The reason why Selfina is not really a great unit is her growths are just bad, to be honest. There's no real way around it. If you're going to use Selfina, which I plan to do, you're going to need to load her up on Crusader Scrolls, and I do end up with a pretty good Selfina at the end of this run, and I'll definitely be using her and getting the most out of her utility. Anywho, talking a bit more about the actual chapter itself, the enemy weapon types here have finally basically reverted to what you would consider standard Fire Emblem fare. The soldiers have plain iron lances, the knights have plain steel lances, the bowmen have plain iron bows. None of this stupid longbow crap. Short lances, long lances, great lances, short swords, great swords. Just normal ass Fire Emblem weapons. Chapter 9. Only reason I'm guessing we didn't have great axes is because they just didn't bother to program them, and they just keep it at iron lances. No one's going to make any issue of it. And there you go, having Asphalt one-shot the enemy boss of this chapter. That's kind of what magic does in this game. It takes care of problems. It's the Winston Wolfe of Fire Emblem Thracia 776. In addition to regular Fire Emblem weapons, the bishop down there is armed with the standard wind tome, which we haven't seen up until now. And there's a good reason for that. For some reason I'm not quite sure of, wind magic is just insanely broken in this game. And no, I don't just count that as Asphalt's Graph Caliber. I mean the standard wind tome in this game it's just flat out better than the standard fire and the standard thunder tomes. It weighs less than both of them, it's more powerful, and it has a higher crit chance. I mean, what is this crap? What does someone at Intelligent Systems just have a thing for wind magic? I mean, there was maybe cause for this when they brought up Whole City in Genealogy of the Holy War and basically made it into, theoretically, the second most powerful magic in the entirety of the universe, if not for Naga. But yeah, for some reason, magic in this game is really, really super duper good. And you know what? I'm not complaining about it. I like wind magic. It's pretty damn awesome. In the conventional sense, the only way this chapter becomes hard, per se, is if you're a stickler for keeping everyone alive. If you accept the fact that you're willing to make a few sacrifices, this chapter can be an absolute joke, because a lot of the enemies here, aside from the Dragon Knights, are your typical standard soldier enemies up to this point. They're all pretty weak and easy to take out, for the most part. Just have everyone but Selphina escape, and have Selphina stand on the escape tile, because it's technically a thrown tile, and the only thing I'll have to worry about is one of the Dragon Knights getting lucky with a crit. But that should definitely buy you enough time to have everyone get up there and whoop them asses, basically. By the way, if you want iron lances and don't want to buy them, this is like the only chapter you're going to have an opportunity to get them for, I don't know, God knows how long. I don't even remember if the enemies even use iron lances again after this chapter. Get them now, or buy them, or stick with using short lances, basically. Or long lances, because that seems to be the only thing the Manster army fields, and this is kind of the only chapter in the game where the Thracian army is the only army you're facing. And we have contact. Let's see how well these rookie knights do against trained killers, basically. Not well, apparently. Also, I completely forgot to mention this near the start of the chapter, and I'm kicking myself now, but definitely bring Carry On in this chapter. Yes, even if he got, like, no levels at all, you need to bring him, because have him talk to Selphina, and you get a pretty kick-ass weapon. Not just for him, anyone can use it, really, but it's something that you definitely want, and it's one of the most useful items you'll ever get in this game. By the way, the bishop with the wind tome near the bottom of the map also has a meteor tome, so be careful in situations like this where he can kill one of your units. It ain't fun. Also, if you thought meteor was bad, this is kind of the last chapter where it starts regularly appearing. Once you get to chapter 10, bolting becomes the new standard long-range tome for enemies. And it's basically meteor with a crit chance. Yeah, just think about all the fun ways that could go for your game. On the plus side though, you do have a couple units that can very feasibly get an A rank in Thunder, meaning that if you capture guys with bolting, it's very easy to turn it around in them. And this is one of the few Fire Emblem games where you can make a great use out of siege tomes. Not quite as good as, say, 6 or 7, but overall, pretty great use of weapons that are kind of, for some reason, regarded more as enemy exclusives for some reason. I mean, what was it? Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon was the only game in the series to have a ballistician as a unit you could actually recruit. And I've always wondered why they didn't do that. I mean, Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn and the GBA games had ballistas and catapults in the later 2 games on the map that you could use, but why have you never had siege engineers as their own units? It always perplexed me. It's something that could easily add a whole lot of extra depth to the game. And that's also one of the reasons why Awakening kind of falters a bit for me. It kind of takes away a lot of the stuff from Fire Emblem games. It strips it down of a lot of uniqueness and interesting enemy varieties in that sense. That's something that this game has, and it's why I love it a lot. But man, I really gotta get my guys up there and start fighting them so I can draw them away from the rookies and hopefully they won't get splattered across the mansion walls, because I would just not want that to happen. Now then, I would probably want to just speed up the next portion here because I'm actually kind of running out of things to say, but it is interesting to watch, so instead I want to talk about an idea I have coming up for a particular video on this channel, which I hope you'll be interested in. One of the things that I really want to do with this channel, aside from making commentaries on games like this, or making top 10 lists, or maybe some movie reviews if I get the chance to do it. No, something I want to talk about is politics. International, national, that kind of stuff. Local, just stuff that interests me. I'm very much into politics. I'm taking political sciences as my major in university right now, and I think this would both help me, as well as other people that maybe aren't as educated about the subject. Not that I'm saying I am, I haven't even finished one class in it yet, because I actually just recently switched my major, but, well, I'm getting a bit off topic. Basically, I want to make a blog about different political issues that are affecting, for the right now, just affecting Canada. And no, this wasn't spurred on by the shooting that happened yesterday. I've had this plan for a while, and I may incorporate that into the video. And in case you're not Canadian and watching this, yesterday, on Wednesday, there was a shooting down in Ottawa. 3 suspects, one of them confirmed and was killed by police. They wounded a couple people and killed one soldier outside a war memorial. It was a truly disastrous occasion, and my hearts go out to anyone that was affected by this out in Ottawa. But the reason I had wanted to do this is there was a particular nagging thought that's been in the back of my mind ever since the 2011 election, and I felt like if I did a video on it and really researched it, it would both bring closure to myself and maybe other people that sort of feel the same way. I don't want to spoil exactly what the topic is that I want to talk about, but it has to deal with a new type of, say, conflict that may be arising in the legislature and political parties, and how it might affect the next election, as well as even maybe the future of Canadian politics itself, but that might be stretching it a bit, as things may end up reverting to a state of normalcy quite quickly, in fact. Well, that was kind of a disappointing level up from Carry On. I mean, I know he's no longer really jacked up on Crusader Scrolls like Chapter 8, but still, come on man, your growths are better than that. At least you got a pointed build though. Build is always a good stat to get on anyone that's not a mage, because, well, hey, better attack speed, better capturing. Even though he's a knight, sometimes you have to have him dismount. I should reiterate that, despite how daunting this massive amount of enemies looks, the 4 rookie knights really can actually defend that tile there against all these guys. The only problem are the Dragon Knights. Those are the only guys that are going to concern you. Everyone else, if you just attack carefully, they shouldn't be too much of an issue here. I also really hate that all these Dragonites are using killer lances. So we can't steal them because they can't be captured because they're mounted units. And there's no way, even if I had a sleep staff at this point, that I wouldn't want to waste it on them. Even if I really did want the killer lances. Kind of a shame, really. They're just going to end up going to waste. If any of your guys are hurting for HP, remember that the FU tile also provides a slight healing boost at the start of your turn. It's the only way any of these guys are going to get health back, because no one starts with any vulneraries, unfortunately. That would have made this much better to handle. And damn, I was really hoping that Robert had hit that guy, because now it's very likely that one of those Dragonites is going to do some serious harm. I mean, Selfina was able to take this guy out, but I mean, come on, Robert had like an 80% hit chance against that guy, and he ended up missing. God damn it, game. Oh, God, I hope nothing bad happens here. Oh! Bye, Kane. I'm glad you were able to get that one critical hit off, but yeah, I'll send your check to your next... Oh. Well, it was nice seeing you around and you... Whatever, I don't care about him. In any other Fire Emblem, I probably would have reset the chapter. But in this game, in this chapter, and that kind of unit, I really just don't give a fuck. I just don't care about Kane that much in order to bother saving him. He's just an inferior Finn in every single way except slightly better growth rates. And I'm like, well, big whoop. Crusader Scrolls solved that problem for pretty much anyone. Anyone in Thracia 776 can be made into a great unit. The only dividing factors are availability, efficiency, and utility. Kane and Alba don't have either of those. So, I don't know, I just don't care about them because of that. Anyway, since we're nearing the end, I just wanted to talk a bit more about some things I may be doing differently from now on. I'm probably going to stick with about 20 minutes, 20 to 24, as my projected video length. I don't want to go too above that, but will go below if the situation calls. I think this will allow me to get out videos a bit more and have them be a bit more substantial. I'm also, as you may notice, experiencing with much longer takes, so expect a bit more ums and ahs to get through, as I'm not splicing together a million different clips instead of a few big ones. Anyway, this is about the end of part 1. I'll see you guys once I'm done the recording for part 2 and have it uploaded. Please leave a like, comment, rating. See you guys next time.